Hello and welcome back to my next video, to another video about 3D designing. This time I used the male body. As you can see, it's just easy, or just a basic sportswear for men that I designed this time. The overall procedure is fairly standard, using a few tubes and aligning it with the body, and nothing really special about this. What I can tell you in the meantime is that the video is in 4 times speed, so it only took me about 40 minutes to finish the whole procedure. With with smaller and easier parts is just this much faster. Anyhow, what's interesting is that in the final picture it is actually not the male body you see wearing it, but the female body, because both have an androgyny setting, so you can form them a little bit in the direction of the other gender or the other body type. But the problem with the male body, with the male base body, is just that it is so hunky, so muscular, so yeah, typical male, that it is difficult to actually work with it. Whenever you have an object or a clothing in depth, you can use the uh, built-in tools to modify it or to translate it to another body. So if you have something for, let's say, Genesis 2 female, you can translate it to another Genesis female body. Maybe you translate it to Genesis 8 female. In that case, you can just use the option to say, hey, please make this a Genesis 8 model. Then the program will ask you what was it designed for an original. You can say, hey, it's original design for the Genesis 2 model, and then it adapts everything as good as possible. This also works from male to female. So in this case, I designed the original for the male body, and I intended to use it on the male body. All parts you see in the end are designed on the male body, but I translated them to the female body because the androgyny section and the overall idea for what I was going just worked this much better in it. And as you can see in the video right now, I'm already working on the second part. It's again, I use the extrusion tool a lot. I actually didn't do a full tube this time. I did only a half of it, and later copied it over or mirrored it over to the other side of the body, which actually gave me quite an interesting trouble later. Or what trouble, it gave me an interesting problem later on, but you will see. Right there I'm bridging um, two edges, and then the overall idea was to actually cut the edge out using the I cut it out, so I have two objects here: the edge on the lower half, which has actually a whole side to it, and the leg, which, even though I cut it in half basically, which it has two parts, it has the front and the back part, is still just one object in the app. So right now I'm at the point where I can just mirror it. There were a few mishaps with the alignment of the two objects. The flat grid which goes around the actual body, and the edge on the download, which is actually thickened. Yeah, did my best to align everything. Same here, just move the points inwards so it would align, so there wouldn't be any weird edges, any weird dots around. And we're almost done with the base object. So the first textures, the texture of the leg part and the texture of the edge. Yeah, try to cut it open there so I could actually do an okay texture, but somehow it didn't work like I wanted, even though everything was there. So in the end, I just left it like this. Yeah, but working on the texture was quite time consuming in this case, even though it's a fairly easy or standard object in itself. So that's basically just it. I looked for any openings and I found them, so right here just closing it up, just yeah, and that's basically how trunks work. And this was the point where I was a bit confused, where it moved a little bit different than I expected, because there were a lot of points in the end 4 objects that didn't move quite together, so I had to in the end cut the already copied part, move everything, until I'm happy with the outcome, and then it's copy pasting the other half over again, and that's basically it. Yeah, at this point I was like, okay, this is a little bit dull, a little bit plain, let's add something more. So I cut a small hole in there, used the line tool to just add a line, to just create a line, and then I added like a lace to bind it, to tie it up so it is closed. So yeah, when I'm sometimes at the finished product, I'm just adding little details I think are necessary, or just make it a little bit more fun and interesting. So copy pasting that again. I didn't bother with just giving it a little bit more unsymmetry or asymmetry, so just work like that. So last part was the hip part, the where the thing is actually holding onto the body. Easy texture, done deal. Thanks for watching and see you around.